Hi everyone! Today I have a super cute project for you. Look at how cute this little cracker treat box is. We're going to make this today. I'm going to show you how quick and easy this comes together with our cracker treat box dies. If you are shopping for products, please head to my online store. You can shop using this house code for extra benefits in November. All orders will receive a PDF with 3 exclusive projects, and orders over $50 will receive the Make and Take kit to coordinate with that PDF. All right, let's get started on this cute little treat box. So I mentioned that they were dies. So these are the Cracker and Treat Box dies. These are in our our annual catalog. I'm sorry, guys. These are in our annual catalog. And if you're watching this on Wednesday, November 16th, they are currently 20% off during our seasonal sale. So you can head to my online store and get these on sale for just a couple of days. Okay, we are also using the Handmade Wishes dies or set, and this is a really cute one, especially if you do a lot of baking or gifting goodies during the holidays. This is a great one to have, and it also has a coordinating punch, so you can get this one in a bundle, and this is in the mini catalog. All right, so I have already die cut my cracker treat box out of sweet sorbet cardstock, and so this is where we're going to start. So I'm going to grab my bone folder, and it also scores those lines for you. So you want to go slowly, go carefully, and burnish all of the score lines really well. The better you burnish the score lines, the easier your box will come together. So don't skip this step. Make sure that you take your time, use a bone folder, and really go through and burnish your score lines. All right, those are all the ones that go around that way. Now we have some on the other side that we need to burnish. You just need to be careful folding these down because you don't want to tear off any of those little points or bend them the wrong way. But give those a good burnish. I'm going to do the other side exactly the same. Just take your time, do each one individually. Give that a good burnish. Now on the end here, there's a score line as well. So this one is a little bit more tricky. Just take your time, bend that one carefully, and burnish that down. And then between these little points, there's another one, and we're going to fold that one in the opposite direction. Okay, so just fold that backwards, and then by this point, it really kind of starts to come together. So you can see this side is already kind of forming what we want it to form. So let's work on this side. Again, we'll do that top score line. Just give it a little burnish. Just be careful. We'll fold it over, give it a burnish with our bone folder, and then these, just go through, give them all a quick little press. And this is our cracker treat box. So once it is all nice and burnished, you can see how we took the time, and now it is just going to fold up easily just like that. Now there's a couple ways that you can fold this. You can fold this up so that it has 5 points. You can fold it up so that it has 4 points, depending on what you're going to put in it. We are actually going to fold it up so that we have the 5 points because I personally think that's a little bit cuter. So we're going to add some adhesive to this one of the end tabs. It doesn't matter which one, they're both the same. I'm going to choose to use some of our Tombow multi-purpose glue this time. If you use tear and tape, just make sure that you use tear and tape on all these little areas here because you want to make sure that everything on this side gets adhered down. So I'm just going to go through, and I'm just going to add a little bit of glue to all of these areas. Then when you fold it over, I'm going to start with the bigger section because that's easier to line up. And then just go through. You can line up those scallops, give it a little press, and then flip it over to the other side, give it a little press. Just make sure everything is nice and lined up. Make sure those scallops are nice and lined up, and then you'll never see that seam. Isn't that cute? So we're going to set this aside to dry for just a second. Let me line that one back up. All right, give that a little press, get your fingers in there, give it a little press. All right, we're going to set this aside to dry before we come in and do anything else. While we're letting it dry, I'm going to talk about this little green ribbon here. This is our white seam binding. We're going to color that with our Granny Apple Green Dark Stampin' Blend, but I want to do this so that it has a little bit of time to dry. So let me open up my marker. I'm going to use my brush tip, and I'm going to just swipe it along the white seam binding. all the way to the end, move it down. This takes, I mean, not too long to dry it. It's an alcohol ink, so it'll dry pretty quickly, but I want to make sure that I have plenty of time to let it dry so that you don't get it on your fingers. I think just a little bit more is good. And you can do this with any of your Stampin' Blends. You can take our white seam binding and you can make any color ribbon you want. You can take any white embellishment, white mark, white ribbon or anything. And look, now we have beautiful granny apple green ribbon. So I'm going to set this aside to do a little bit of drying. We're going to come back to that in a minute. Put my marker away. All right, let's come back to our little box. Well, let's do our stamping first, so that has a little bit more time to dry. So we're only stamping on 2 little tags. These little tags were also die cut using the cracker and treat box dies. This one has so many little shapes, little banners, little dies, little tags. This is a great one. These little dies here, the stars and the hearts, you can actually cut out little windows in your box before you assemble it, so it has like a little peekaboo. So it's very, very cute. It's a very versatile, very cute little box. So let's do our stamping. So I've already die cut my pieces. So I have that white little pierced tag there, and then I have at a Sweet Sorbet another little tag, and we're gonna do some embossing. And I didn't grab my embossing powder. I'm gonna have to grab that real quick. It's right at my desk, so it's not gonna take long. All right, we're gonna do the Wishing You in Garden Green, and I'm gonna do it all the way to the left side of my little tag here. Let's see if I can get this straight. Cute. That's pretty good. All right, we're done with the Garden Green. Let me grab my white embossing powder. I like to keep my embossing powders in these little containers. I actually got these containers at the Container Store, but you can get little containers at the Dollar Tree, at your local discount store, wherever you want. But I dump a couple of the little tubs in there, and it's all ready to go. All right, so we have our little tiny tag here, and I'm going to take my embossing buddy from my embossing toolkit, which is in the mini catalog. And I am going to just give that a little swipe, just give my tag a little swipe, and that's going to help the excess pieces of embossing powder not stick. I'm also going to have my little tweezers from that kit ready, because I'm going to have to hold this down. And I'm going to ink up in Versamark ink, the Joy, and we're going to stamp this. We're not going to stamp it straight, we're going to stamp it a little crooked because our tag is going to go on a little bit crooked. So I'm going to stamp the Joy. Just like that in Versamark. Now, I don't know if you're going to be able to see that on camera, but it is stamped. Put your ink pad away. Trust me. And then, because this is so small, I'm just going to dip it in. But if you had a bigger piece, you could use the little scoop that I have or use a little spoon and just sprinkle it over. So I'm just going to dip that in, tap off any excess, and then it's ready to be heated. So where's my lid? Let me put this away. Make sure you put your embossing powder away before you start heating. Ask me how I know. And you would just take your heat tool and heat it up until it's shiny and melted. And I already have one done. So this is what it looks like. So you can see it gets nice and bright white and shiny and melted. And so this is what you want. So let me put that aside. Work on that later. So we have our pieces stamped. So I'm actually going to use a little dimensional and just attach my tag on here. So Wishing You Joy. So we're just going to line up that Joy so that it's all in the same line. Okay, very cute. We are moving along. We're ready to go. Okay, I think we're ready to come back to our little cracker treat box. Now, what's inside? What did I put inside here? This is a pretty small box. So I actually found these little chapsticks at my local Walmart. And so I'm just going to grab one of these. This one is a Blueberry Blitzen. So I'm just going to open this up, stick it in. The other ones that it came with are Raspberry Rudolph and Caramel Comet. And the Caramel Comet is the one that's in here. All right, now with our little chapstick in there, I want to tie up both of the ends. So I have some Sweet Sorbet baker's twine here. I'm going to fold it over so I have a double bow. We're going to take one side and I'm going to try to locate that back seam. And I'm going to make sure that my bows are on the top. So let me turn it this way. And I'm just going to tie this up, just kind of cinch it right at that little point where it's going in. And we're going to tie up one side. And we'll do the same on the other side. Grab my scissors and trim off this little end, trim off that end, and we're going to do the same on this side. Okay, so grab I don't know, maybe like 12, 13 inches of it. Fold it over, and then just make sure that your bow is on the top, matching the other one. Pull this over a little bit. There we go. There we go. I love our baker's twine. I love that it coordinates with our end colors. You can get the end color baker's twine. It comes with all 5 of the end colors. So you can get all the end colors. Okay, so there is our little box all ready to go. Let's come back to our granny apple green ribbon. And I think I probably colored way too much of this. We just need a little bow. So I'm just going to do little bunny ears and tie a little bow. 3 bows in one video, guys. What was I thinking? The pressure of the camera. All right. I think we got it. Just do a little bit of finagling. There we go. Pull that one a little more. I like coloring with the Stampin' Blends on our seam binding because it makes it a little bit stiffer and a little bit easier to work with. So I have a little bit more of that. I'll have to find something else to use that on. Okay, so I'm going to take a glue dot. Now that we have our bow tied, I'm going to take a glue dot and just pick that up on a glue dot and stick it right over our little hole. You can string it through that little hole if you want, but I thought a glue dot was just fine. So we have our little tag ready to go. We just have a little bit more embellishing to do. I have 2 pieces of DSP. This is from the Sweetest Christmas DSP, and measurements are going to be in the video description, but if you want the measurement, it is 4.5 by 2, and this one is 4.5 by 1, I believe. Yep. And so we're just going to layer these up. I'm going to use some ruler back. There we go. I'm going to use some Stampin' Seal Plus. You just want a nice strong adhesive. I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive along each of the short ends, and then just kind of one down the middle. So along each of the short ends and one down the middle. We're going to start with our bigger one. That 2.5 inch is going to line up perfectly right in between here. So with our bows on top, I'm going to start on the opposite side, and I'm just going to go around and just kind of pinch it and stick it down as I go. So just go through, pinch it and stick it down, pinch it and stick it down. And if you wanted that seam on the top, because we are covering that whole thing, so if you wanted that seam on the top, you could. I don't think that it matters too much. I think people are not going to be too picky about it because it's such a cute tree. So just go through. Once it's all glued down, just burnish it all. So you have a cute little wrap for that one, and we're going to do the same exact thing. And this one is just going to go off to the right a little bit. So just go through, kind of burnish those lines. DSP is nice and thin, so it wraps easily. Don't get your bow in there. Okay, and there we go. So there's pretty much the little basis of our box. This is a great way to use up some DSP scraps if you have some of those, and make a bunch of little treats all at once. All right, I have also die cut some wreaths here. These are from the Santa's Express dies, the little Santa delivery train set. I don't have those dies off the top of my head. I forgot to grab those, but they are in the mini catalog, so you can grab those. And we're just going to stick these on. I'm going to start with my garden green one, or my granny apple green. I have granny apple green and garden green. And I'm just going to add a little bit of adhesive on opposite sides because the top and the bottom of the wreath are going to hang off. So you don't need to add adhesive to the top and the bottom. Just add them to the sides. I'm going to do the same on this one. Just a little bit of liquid glue. You can also use glue dots. This adhesive will mostly be covered up, so you don't have to worry too much about that. Then I'm just going to stagger it a little bit. Okay, just get that a little hold. Isn't that cute already? All right. We are almost done. We're just going to attach our tag with dimensionals. I'm just going to grab a couple of these. These fit perfectly on the back of our tag. So peel those up. And this will go right over the wreath. Just like that. Now to finish it off, I have some red rhinestones, and I'm just going to add a little cluster of 3 just right onto my wreath. So I have 1, 2, and 1 more. Little cluster of 3. You can add more on the bottom of the wreath if you want, but I think just that little tiny bit of sparkle adds so much. All right, so I hope you love these little chapstick holders. So inside there is a little holiday chapstick. You can find these maybe at your local Walmart or at other places So I hope you guys like this. If you did, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel on YouTube. That really helps me out. And I will be back on Sunday in my Facebook VIP group. There's a link to join in my video description. I hope you join me. If you are shopping, make sure to shop my online store using this HUS code. There's also a link in the video description. And I thank you guys very much, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.